Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Paranormal, the New Normal. I'm back once again to try and make the world seem a little more normal. Never happens, but we're here anyway. And been looking forward to this one because we have a returning guest. That's right, folks. Johnny Tesone is back once again.
Hey,
The founder,
Jeremy.
the founder of GeoVortex is back with some more updates for us. So I had to bring him back on to hear what's been going on in that world. How you doing today, Johnny?
Hey, Jeremy. I'm doing great. Happy weekend to you, my friend. Hey, I was looking forward to always return visits with people that are curious. So I felt there was definitely a good connection the first time. But anyhow, we covered a lot in the last session, and sometimes it's like I read the preparedness, and I could talk all through those topics if you wanted to run through those topics. But as an update, I'm starting my travels now to South America, in particular the Patagonia of Argentina, both for recreation and some new sightings that I found on Google Earth that I'm actually going to walk in Argentina that are massive sites, massive. And then I found some incredible mountains east of Lima, Peru. So this has been the biggest development that I can almost share with anybody. But it's I'm not in a position to come out and say it because I'm trying to get people prepared to what I've already got, and to try to give them the foundation of the mystique, but also the science and the hard evidence, was showing them the bones and showing them the work that I've put into the foundation of finding this layer of this supreme being that's here, that's us in the universe, right? It's us in the universe, but there's a physical manifestation that I found as a geologist that is undeniable with how much data that's out there. And so, Jeremy, it brings us to a point where my first book and some of the developments there, Secrets of the Winds, starting to get a lot more web visits, more sales coming online, but it's actually one of the world's largest book events in New Delhi, India. So I presented my materials to an author and a really great author himself, and has got recognized around the world. And Dr. Nitin Chopra is his name, but he saw my work, and he's hand delivering my book and getting it ready to present to that forum, and also universities, and start in Asia Pac, South America, and India are kind of the first 6 months of where my book is going into market. And then it's going to be Europe, US, Canada, and kind of that follow on. So the developments are really about the business. GeoVortex really becoming an e-commerce hub for my data. So, but also now that I have a legitimate social manager, campaign manager, book authority, book author himself, he's helped me understand the dynamics, but also the opportunities everywhere. And so, and I found out Barnes and Noble is adding 60 more stores in 2026, because over the last 8 years, people are reading more. Believe it or not, the country has the right momentum with intellect and people that are curious to get out there. So in the midst of some of the things that are going on with the economy in the US and this and that niche is important to know for me. That means that storytelling and people that are authors are going to be important. Not only have they been important, but now the Barnes and Noble and the commerce side, not just the fantasy and the but really the hard, trying to get it in the mainstream. It was music to my ears that Barnes and Noble was was expanding like this. So that gives me because there's Barnes and Nobles everywhere in my state, Colorado, everywhere.
Yeah.
So I can line up book events, signing things up and down the Front Range. So it's all really great developments that I've had, definitely, Jeremy.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised to hear that Barnes& and Noble's opening more stores. I kind of thought the bookstore was going the way of the dodo pretty soon. But, I mean, and there's still people that love to go and pick out an actual hard copy book and read it. I mean, Kindle and audiobooks have their place, but there's always going to be those people that actually love to pick up a book. I mean, that's the way I am. I'd rather actually pick up a book
Me
than
too.
go to Kindle. But
Me too. And I'm having a coffee table edition that's going to be a big landscape. That's the first, really the first. It's going to be a limited edition or whatever I'm going to call it. But it's going to be a package separately. It's going to be big, but then there's also a more of a condensed, reader friendly, smaller version of that. So I'm going to have kind of the full meal for people that want it on their coffee table or want it as a reference or both. And so it's really shaping up to be really neat. But back to your point about Barnes and Noble, it was really a bright indication that they are legit and that people are seeking that out, because I think it gives them a sense of community, and it's so much better than reading it online. I agree, so much better.
yeah, I mean, there's a convenience thing with the Kindles, that's for damn sure, but it's just not. It doesn't feel the same. I mean, I've had to do. Well, I don't read anymore because I don't have freaking time, kids. But when I was Kindle definitely had convenience factors, but it just wasn't.
Right.
It didn't feel the same. It didn't feel the same. But and I mean, it's also not supporting your author as much as it should, because Kindle doesn't. They all put it on Kindle for free for most of the time with Kindle Unlimited, because that's just the deal Amazon makes them make. And it's
Yeah,
like,
so
I,
hopefully I'll be making an announcement when I'm going to be on Barnes and Noble, in direct contact with them to get it in there. And starting to set that up, because then it's going to start. Things are, that'll start rolling in the U.S., but we're trying to get kind of some of these major markets that are really interested in the book now locked in with publishers and outlets. So I plan on spending time in Buenos Aires when I'm going to Argentina in February and March. So I'm going to spend time there and meet with some people in the city, but then I'm flying south but just the flight south from Buenos Aires to the Patagonia, you can see exactly my research and what I've been talking about, because the vastness and the unpopulated regions of the Patagonia stretch for as long as you can see on the horizon. And then you can see these lines and these cables and these things that come out and just go forever and make this geometry and these big spatial units. Then you get closer to the mountains and you see all the miles of trees that are perfectly aligned up, that are 40 to 50-foot pine trees now. So they're in these remote areas, and it's all part of the matrix, I call it, of the geometry. That's the Earth's, their sacred geometry. Its signature. That's what I've found, the Earth's signature, and that's what I'm expert in, finding those patterns and finding that. So it's amazing.
sounds like it. I mean, South America has a lot of answers to a lot of questions in the paranormal world. I know that for a fact. And so, where? Wait, did I say Antarctica or Argentina?
The reason Antarctica is attached to South America and North America. So if you look out on a map, you can see that it's attached, and on Google Earth. But you can also see, and I can see, and how I've found how big Yellowstone was, the clues of how massively force that erupted that actually turned South America over. And you can see in the chain of islands how it turned 90 degrees and turned over. Two different
Interesting.
sides, Central America and down in South America, two different times where you can spill that over. So you begin to look at unraveling the processes. So if things look like they do now, how did they get there? Right. So my mind sees things, and it's like when I start seeing abnormal and crazy geometry in the Wind Rivers of Wyoming. It was like, this is nothing I've ever seen before. So it gave me a sense that there was something, a bigger force and bigger event that happened. And that was the key, is knowing that it wasn't anything we found. Therefore, my eyes were open to everything, right? So once you reach the threshold of finding things you've never seen, your observer becomes quantum. So once you collapse the field of observation, you become the creator. Then it becomes reality. That's how cool it is. That's how freaking cool our life is. It really is. Then it's a science fiction movie that I'm living and writing.
It is in a way. I mean, South America, though, oof, that's cryptid county, man. There's a lot of different cryptids there that are hidden in the woods, in the wilderness. Things we don't even know.
Really, yeah, there's in Cordoba, Argentina is a hotbed for events for the paranormal and ETs and stuff. So I'm gonna work my way in becoming a speaker and a book person that talks about Argentina and South America down there, and show them the geology and throw them the connections to the Egyptians that I've found in the rock record, both gods and goddesses and the Eye of Horus and all the cool stuff that I'm trying to get the people prepared to show what I've found in the giants of the world that are in the rock record. So that's the thread, how big and how unimaginable stuff that I've tapped into. It's crazy, cool, big.
Yeah, which why don't we? Well, actually, before I ask this next question, why don't you give the listeners a little bit of a reminder of what GeoVortex does, just in case they somehow missed the first one or whatnot?
Definitely. So GeoVortex, it's geovortex.net is the website. So I formed GeoVortex in right at the end 2020, 2021, based on all the findings and data that I was accumulating during COVID. So it started with the epiphany or the out of body before I even started the company. But as I started finding the geology and the data and the rocks and the fossils, and I said, I want to try to commercialize this, because geologists don't get paid unless you're finding oil, gas, or water, or avoiding water, or trying to avoid drilling mistakes. And there's not an economy for geologists to, other than being an entrepreneur like I am, right? So I was like, I've got to have a container. I got to have a portal where I can start putting all my pictures and all my stories and all my videos and all my knowledge on, and start building it. And I called it the GeoVortex, because it just is the GeoVortex. I feel like I'm the GeoVortex, and I've found the GeoVortex. It's like this infinite whole of geology and data based around Earth science and what I've found. So the portal it's a merch site. It's a content portal for people to come and to learn. So I'm going to be publishing papers on there. I got blogs going. I got reels going. I'm doing 2 to 3 reels. Let's see, how many am I doing? A month at least, if not more. So the schedule is as many as possible that are talking about the book, but totally branding. So the business, the GeoVortex, is about having a place where there's no place like it on Earth, with how the website looks. And I don't know if you've seen it lately or remember it, but it's a phenomenal looking website, right? So I got a merch line on there. So I'm streamlining kind of the operations. I'm working on that, the book, different editions. I'm building out the library. So what I'm saying, it's like, if you really want to learn what a geologist has found, I'm not trying to sell anybody anything other than the data, right? Like, come and look for yourself, and you look at it, and just let me show you what I have and what I found, and let you So it's just this open source of information that crosses UFOs, it crosses ETs, ancient aliens, Egyptians, all that stuff in all sciences. It crosses Einstein, it crosses Newton. So this goes so far back, and it helps understand all the ancient temples, all the artifacts. It's not archaeology anymore. Archaeology is man-made stuff. This is extra archaeology, right? This is the different design phenomenon and extreme power that provided all this crazy manipulation of these huge blocks everywhere in the world, that can't be moved by natural. So a lot of it is geology based because we were covered in so much water, right? And then the land was being created with the heat from the mantle and the surface. And then once the ship landed that I've documented, brought the oceans, it created this fantastic system. And it started like that. But we were predominantly water for millions and billions of years until things started forming and solidifying with the cooling then, and the plates started forming with the cooling, and the system really started to kick in with the amount of water and the heat, and created just an incredible system that we're proud to be a part of. That's a miracle.
Yes, 100% proud to be a part of it. Well, some days, but lately those days are few and far between with everything going on in this world. But yeah, I mean, if you're going to South America, is the end goal to actually get into Antarctica? Because I mean, you would find so much in Antarctica, or
Oh,
supposedly.
I would love to go to Antarctica. There's so many places to go. I mean, right? Galapagos is high on my list. Okay, Galapagos Islands. I want to go to the Galapagos. Definitely, Greece. Crete is a hotbed for my stuff. So Crete. Also, so many places. Hawaii, like the Polynesian Islands. So a lot of where the most original civilizations I want to study. Africa, but all of it. Antarctica, absolutely. It's like I want to live another 100 years and keep doing what I'm doing. I just do, Jeremy. I have that much passion and that much energy now, where every time I go outside or on Google Earth, it just keeps the synchronicities just keep popping, and it's like, what am I going to find next on Google Earth? Because it's like I keep finding more things, these layers of, and then it's like, how do you age that? It's almost impossible to age. It's almost impossible. So I have to find what happened based on the depth of where I see it in the earth, right? So I have to have some empirical geometry and understanding of resourcing around the world and all that. So it's been a ride, my man. It's been a ride, but 2026 is going to be like no other, like no other.
I mean, well, we are getting closer to 27, and something big's supposed to happen in 27. So I'm right there with you. That's for damn sure. But what do you? I gotta ask this because I did get brought up. So Antarctica, why do you? What's your theory on why the governments have it locked down? Because it's the one place on Earth that every
Because
government works together,
because
which
you
is
can't hide so much energy, right? There's so much energy, so you can pick this up from both the surface and from remote sensing, and so you can see both, and I can see it. So I've found some fascinating things on Google Earth. So what I do is I go time lapse Google Earth in Antarctica, every continent. So I time lapse back, so I can see the changes in the process. So Antarctica, you just can't deny the energy and what people find anymore. You can't deny people like me that are on Google Earth and that are geologists and true explorationists that are going and finding it, because Antarctica is desolate and cold and protected for a reason. And it looks like it does for a reason. And it was the cap. It was the cap of the Yellowstone bomb. So it was the protection. It was both. Then it flipped. So the way these came in is Antarctica's on the bottom in the shell, then it expands, and then it flips over time, and you've seen it. So you can see it in the Earth record how it contained and was the cap, and its size actually has increased. So all the Earth is expanding. So people talk about climate and stuff like that. It's like we can't control the shoreline or heat or rain or anything ever. We just can't. So you have to know what's going on in the earth. You have to know where places are subducting and volcanoes are happening and where tidal floods are going to be common and places aren't going to be habitable. Even in the US are going to be too hot and too wet, right? They just are. We can look at that through radar or through satellite over the years. Louisiana, you can just see it all in the south. The heat, the water. Droughts are temporal, but overall, over the years, you can just see parts of subduction, but other parts that are expanding. And so it's just a constant change, this world. And we have to know what it is that's causing it. So that's where I come in. There's all these things that people debate on and issues of fear. Shouldn't be any fear, anybody anymore. If you're living in fear, and I know it's hard telling a dad and raising kids, dude, I've been there. Dude, I've been there, making the payments on this and that, and trying to make the wife happy and the kids happy and get them smart to the world and to the family. I'm just saying that my life has led me to a point where I need to connect with people like you and to help you understand the things that I've seen that are so amazing, and our lives are so amazing, and we can all tap into huge amounts of energy within us that is God, right? And that's all in ourselves. So it's like I've taken all the religious dogma out of my life. I've taken the obligations of finances out of my life. You know, my kids are adults now. I help them when I can, mostly with direction and advice and love. And at the end of the day, it's all we have is love, right? Love for each other, love for ourselves. So my stuff has come pretty full circle to help me understand myself better by being tuned into the world and conscious to the Gaia and loving what I see and loving and respecting her through nature and fishing and geology and walking the mountains and the plains of Utah, Colorado, Wyoming, Argentina a lot now, you know. Then it's going to be Lima, Peru, and Greece, and you know, all this stuff. It's so much work to do. I really want to have a team that's going to help me.
Definitely need one. What do you think about because I've seen a lot of reels on this lately. What do you think about the theory that there's a hidden civilization in Antarctica, and that's the reason why they block it off?
Well, there are. I mean, there's civilizations for sure everywhere. Antarctica is just the most protected, the most isolated. And like I said, Antarctica is designed for a reason. It's so thick and it's so isolated and it's so cold and it's so protected with layers. So I believe whatever the scientists can prove to me, okay, that's what it's about for me. I can, you know, visiting there, I would love to, right? From Argentina, it's not that far, right? They're the closest country down at the tip. So there's logistics for me that are even up. So I totally believe what they found. I also know, you know, to set the premise, you know, there's probably more than we can count of travelers that have come to Earth, left, or are still here in some shape or form, from Sirius or from Arcturus, you know, from Palladius. There's just no denying all these things, and in real records of, people and things that are happening. And then I'm on a wavelength that no human I've known has ever been on. So I'm a testimony to say there's a bigger calling out there, and I've been touched by something that's huge and has given me a graced me with a gift to find stuff and to communicate to the world now. That's how cool it is for me, you know?
Exactly. So, what are you hoping to find in Argentina? That's the real question.
Um, well, there's a lot of things in Argentina for me. There's a lot of things. First of all, it's hot. It's just got Patagonia is just a vibe. So I love just being down there. So I find the energy in the land to be I've been there before land, and I've felt the touch of the presence of great ancestral touch. So there's that, right? So I actually have relatives. My grandpa's brother left the old country of Italy around the turn of the century, 1890-ish, went to Buenos Aires. So I actually do have family down there. So my goals are also trying to find family and probably live down there a lot. So that's my some of my personal goals, and to really get in and love the culture. It's just fascinating. So that's part of it. But what I also want to some of the other things I want to find are maybe some tree rings and maybe some samples that I can collect, that I can actually take some microscope samples and collect them and kind of correlate that. But I also want to take a helicopter to a 2-mile long convex platform that I found by one of my lakes, Airbnbs I'm staying for. So as I turned around the lake, I could see this up. And what I found was a totally validation of my theory about how Yellowstone blew out and what it looked like before it blew out, and showed that it formed and encased, and then the lid blew off. And so from Argentina in this lake, I could see that there were separate explosions after Yellowstone that produced the Andes and produced a lot of stuff that I'm going to document. So what I want to do in Argentina is really go get close, hike up there, or take a helicopter to where I want to go. It's called the platform, but it's beautiful and it has perfect geometry and in the essence of my whole research. So that's part of it. I love to fish. I'm a great trout fisherman, and I love to tie flies. So some of the friends I've met over the years, especially last year, I'm taking flies to them. I'm showing them how to tie some of my flies I like in Colorado and Wyoming to catch trout. Well, they don't know what these flies look like down there, and I show them, and they say, "Well, that's all it is." I said, "That's all it is." And I said, "Watch." And so it's my whole spirit, Argentina. It's my whole spirit. I've documented a lot of the trees down there and how they look on Google Earth and what they represent. The thing about Argentina is probably I'd like to make some connections with the book, and also probably a key science group in Argentina that I can relate to geophysically, geoscientifically. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of a goal. Argentina, that may not happen this trip, but over the years as I build out, it's going to be a hotbed for me, because it is a hotbed. They are fascinated. These town peoples in these little towns, they are fascinated, and they want my book, right? So they're like, yeah, these coffee shops, they got books. Buenos Aires in Argentina has the most bookstores almost in any place in the world per capita. So that's another thing that always has, and that I didn't know, but as I'm like, okay, so if you see what I'm saying, it's like all these things in my life just keep adding up, just keep going the right way. And so I'm set for my next trip. I do want to get into kind of the mainstream science group and really put together, going on this trip, I really want to put together a really great South American profile of just South American, how the Andes and everything all are attached together. And part of it is my new name for one of the first Yellowstone species. Have you seen the men in the rockets on the walls through any of the Ancient Aliens or anything? Well, I they're little pieces, they're little, I don't know how big they are. Well, I found that in Argentina over 2 provinces. It's so big. And I call it Ex-Tyrannoman. So I call it Ex-Tyrannoman because it's the first the first one I found that's closest to the pipe of Yellowstone. So as my eyes see this, I have to say, well, where did that come from? Because I have to look at the distance. Because Yellowstone used to be the Galapagos Islands. The pipe, you can see the pipe on Google Earth. So it's moved 1,000 miles north, but it all ties into the pipe and how our continents move. It's fascinating. It's phenomenal correlation, like no one has ever done. So I'm saying, like, now South America is so crucial because there are so many natural resources down there. I want to stick to the ones that are going to help them elevate their communities. But a big thing why I want to go down there also is to establish more of a culture to eat fish instead of all the beef down there. Okay. You got all these great, huge lakes and rivers. And I go down there and it's like, there's beef. I'm like, where's the trout? So there's not, so the restaurant I'm staying at that has the Airbnb in this little beautiful town called Lago Pueblo, I caught fish with this guide whose sister runs Airbnb, and he cooked me the fish, brought it to the Airbnb. And I'm like, this is incredible. And they're like, they loved it. I said, why don't you guys, and I go, why don't you guys have more trout dinners? They said, well, we need to have more fish. I said, well, let's do this. But I got to thinking, the thing that really gets me excited is helping these people understand that they can raise their own trout, stock it in these huge lakes and these rivers, and teach the people how to tie flies and how to catch them and how to cook them. That's what they want to do. It gives them a sense of community, a sense of recreation, a sense of wholesomeness. But if you see where I'm going with this, everybody wins. Everybody wins. It gets them less dependent on the beef. The beef, the Argentinian beef was started by the American capitalists.
Yep.
They went down there and said, oh, we got to, and so they massively have huge estancias full of the biggest beef farms in the world are down in Argentina. And so when I'm in the city, that's all there is beef. And I don't eat beef as much. I hardly eat beef anymore. I just don't, because it doesn't appeal to me anymore. So I like the high energy fruits, veggies, fish, that stuff. And so what I'm saying is, like, there's a bigger foundation, because these young couples that I've call me Uncle Johnny now down there, because I'm going to teach their 18-year-old how to tie flies and probably how to fish. Just learn English. I'm going to bring them some English, Spanish books and stuff. So for me, life has just so much opportunity to do things that no one's ever done, and that's just who I am. So I'm trying to, something like that would last for hundreds and hundreds of years, to give people the tools and the incentive and the nourishment to provide and go out and catch their dinner every day or every week or whatever, and create where everybody is it's the sense of community now that we're all looking for. In my little community, I'm looking for that. But those Argentine people, that's all they have is each other down there, because they're so far away from resources. and the conveniences that we don't even understand. I mean, some of those are third, they're so far down there. There's hardly any roads and hard to find a truck to rent. I mean, yeah, it's like, but that's what I'm saying. That's the opportunity. And I'm just on fire. Then I hear my old Led Zeppelin song, Cashmere, and I go, oh, there it is. There it is. And here I'm like, I can't stop listening to the words now. I already love the beat, but it's all come together.
Yeah, so what? I mean, you think there'll be more? You think there'll be more proof of extraterrestrials down there, though? Like at the end of
Yeah.
the day.
Oh, definitely, because it is so energetic, and there's so much emphasis on it now, and there's so much focus scientifically now. Because I look at it, so I'm one guy, but you get a team with advanced technologies looking at it. There are going to be major breakthroughs in Antarctica. Major breakthroughs. You're going to find. Here's one thing to keep in mind. What I say as a scientist, nothing surprises me anymore from what I found. Personally, nothing surprises me anymore. And I'm saying it may surprise me because it's like once you're open, you're like, it's not a surprise anymore because you're just getting the download. You're not so it's just flowing, right? A surprise is like a hesitation. It's like, so it's just like, it just keeps flowing in. So it's part of the process of understanding it. So whatever happens and whoever finds whatever, it should be well documented. It should be easy for people to understand as a scientist how they found it, what they found. So I can see the pictures because I've been to so many places and I can see the BS AI. I can see it immediately, right? You have people walking and showing these perfect stuff. It's like, that's BS. So I think that's something major down there. All the countries have it, but the thing about Antarctica, it's such a hot topic, and there's so much energy concentrated there because it's a cap of a civilization or more that it's its own portal. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard a lot of talk about the fact that you can't even see most of Antarctica on Google Maps because it's so like blurred out. Like the government blurs out parts of Antarctica.
Oh no, I found great crystals and I found all cool stuff in Antarctica. I can go on Google Earth right now, and if you want to do this in another session, which if you really want to see what I see in Google Earth, it's not hard to do for me. It's like I can show novices just the patterns within a few minutes, and I can show and I can slow it down. And I can say and I can outline all that. So I'm just saying there is a lot of evidence, and I know I've studied Antarctica, Paleon, geologically, not paleogeologic, but just geologically how it's come together, but how it's really tied to North America and South America, and the original inception, how everything was capped under the protection of Antarctica. And I think it's an extremely quantum dolomite. I think it's an extremely fortified dolomite from what I've seen in so once you see how everything was formed and how it repeats everywhere. So all the Antarcticas and the North, all of those repeat because it's part of the same fractal nature. So I found Antarctica in a number of places, how it looks in one of I call it ex-terrana mines. So when it's reforming, when the extraterrestrial is reforming in the Earth, it's remaking the continents because all the continents are individual living species of what I found, a part of the species. So with it being rock, it has to form somehow. So the ex-terrana mines that I've documented are the geological process by which they rebuild and reform. And so I found these beautiful beautiful looking, because it looks like a shell, doesn't it? Antarctica looks like a shell with the tail. It's because it is. It's because it is, and shells are made out of the hardest forming calcium carbonate. But if you change it to dolomite, it gets even stronger. So there's some geological understanding that has to be made. But absolutely, it's a huge factory. It's a huge factory of energy. Whatever the energy is, and whatever vibration it is, something's giving it off, right? But the cold water creates a polarity already. So the snowball Earth back in the time is fascinating for life to be booming in the high nutrients, and the cold water on the mitochondria in life has been proven to be a substantial attribution of growth and of nourishment. So once you understand that the snowball Earth, Antarctica is a microcosm of that now. So the snowball Earth is this Antarctica where everything is cold and encapsulated and protected from the sun, and it's harboring, right? And it's growing, and there's probably multiple entities that are either trying to get in or there and protecting it. But man is not going to be able to go in there and mess it up. All we're going to be able to do is observe it and document it and hold on tight. That's how it is, and not mess up anything.
Yeah, I think the reason they won't let man go in there, besides their select teams, is there's too many secrets the government's trying to hide down there because they don't want us to be educated. They don't want us to know the truth.
Too many, and I got to tell you, they may not even know what I have, right? They may have no idea. That's not up for me to tell them, but I have data that NASA probably doesn't have. We would have seen it, but no one's tied the cosmos to the geology like I have. Like in some of your questions, that's the whole paradigm change is getting our head around where are we connected, and that's the beauty of the work.
So what is? I don't think I actually asked you this last time, but what is the end game? Like in your mind, like what would be the perfect end game like that would bring everything to the world?
Good question, my man. I mean, the end game is really just to keep telling the story, keep telling the stories, to have fun doing it, to travel, to go to these exotic places. So the end game is to always learn and to always be present and always be authentic, right? An authentic storyteller. So the end game is to live a full life with curiosity and passion, to keep exploring, to cross paths with beautiful, smart people that are curious and that want to know more, and you know what I'm saying, that can really find a great human soul family to have bonds with, right? Beyond my human family, my biological family, the big goal is to really create an awareness about our earth and how we're so connected to it, and to really help people understand that we should have nothing to fear at all in this world. We should have nothing to fear. And if you're fearing stuff, that's yours to free of yourself, to be open for anything you want. Okay, so it has to come full circle with yourself. It just does. And that's what I've come to realize through my life. The end goal is I just want to be the most peace and happiest that I ever have in my life. It's not about accomplishments anymore, or getting readers or a zillion books sold. That stuff doesn't matter. It's almost about being who I am, being the best version of who I am, and letting the world try to understand it through various means that I'm starting to do. That's really it, and to help understand and show them some of the most beautiful things in this world that no one's ever seen, and then someone who can explain it, right? So that's my gift. That's my gift. That's what I'm bringing. That's what I want, is just to talk to people, present, share my voice and my talents, and live a just a beautiful, healthy life.
Well, I mean, that's a beautiful sentiment. But with your work, like with Geovortex, like do you hope that there will be people continuing this work on after you have left this mortal coil, or that they'll be
No,
teaching your
I'm
content?
completely out of oil. I mean, I'm not interested in that business
Oh,
anymore.
I said mortal coil, not oil.
You said more what?
Mortal coil. After you're out of this mortal coil, after you have physically left us, do you hope your company will continue on with someone else carrying on the work?
Good question. I think the books and the work will. I don't know about the company shell yet, because I have kids, and so there's some planning. I'm trying to understand their acumen on wanting to do that. So first, that's my first business continuity, is to see if that would be plausible. Yeah, so I've been thinking about that. I do think that it has a lot of sustainable value to it. So I do think it will continue. And if not, I'm going to probably set up where maybe the data can go to a really great research organization that will carry on that. So those are all things, you're right, I've been thinking about. I do want to build it up to have options on where an estate can be planned and things like that. So that's a real thoughtful question.
Because I mean, I think the quest for discovery of extraterrestrial proof and basically the proof of what happened, of why Earth was formed, that is something that never will go away, and that's something that's when we get more and more answers will reveal themselves over time, way past
Right.
both of our lifespans, way past both of our lifespans. But there's going to be a lot more information that comes to light, especially when supposedly extraterrestrials are coming at some point. So when they come, that's going to open a whole new world of understanding because they'll know the history better than we will.
Well, they're already here. From what
Well,
they're already here.
I
You're
agree.
talking about an event, an extraterrestrial event, like the 3I Atlas, so they're going to come and change. So my school of thought, they've already been here, and it's the frequency that's going to change the Earth. That is the higher dominating human force. There's a split that's going to happen. There's the density of the 3D world where people are going to live in lack and fear and be too busy to have any creative value go on in their lives and learning and things. Then there's going to be the ones that are going to want to shed the obligations and not be tied down so they can be free thinkers. And so it takes a real commitment, discernment, but you also have to go through a transformation within yourself to understand, what the big picture is for your soul.
Well, exactly. I mean, that's the awakening. You have to have that spiritual awakening to figure out that you're more than just a worker bee in a matrix society.
Right. Yeah, you want to be a slave to the banks and the businesses your whole life and be stressed. It's like I gave that up. I gave it up. And I've been there, and I saw I saw the money in the oil and gas. Been all through all that, all the games, all the shams, all the people, all the greed, all the success, all the dry holes, all the big wells, and projects and the billions of dollars through the cycle. And it's like, for what? For what? For
Exactly.
who?
Uh, well, for
We
the
know.
for the secret organizations that run this world, obviously, but
Right.
um, but I mean, I don't know. Something's going to happen, and I think they're going
I
to.
believe there is a change, like you said, 2026, 2027. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's our time, Jeremy. It's our time, brother.
The
It really
paranormal.
is.
Oh, the paranormal community is abuzz with something. So something And I mean, enough of them have the foresight to see what's coming. They won't speak on it. They
Of
will not
course.
because they can't. But it, there's something coming, and I guess we'll have to see what comes of it for sure. I don't know. I'm at a loss for what it's going to be. It's kind of scary almost not knowing exactly what's going to happen when something that big is
But
that
the
big's
other
ahead.
side of it is that's kind of the fun of it too,
Yeah,
and the excitement. But it's not going to be bad. Don't. It's not going to be bad. It's going to be. It's going to be revolutionary, evolutionary, huge. It's never in our mankind is ever going to see this. So there's never been a recorded time. They say maybe it happened 13,000 years ago or 26,000 years, because through the tilt of the Earth axis. They're saying the Mayans, everybody felt this over time as it shifted. There was these points in time, and that's where we're at. All the religions are pointing to this. The geology is pointing to this. There's 40 volcanoes yesterday or something, or today. Like, what? All along the chain. It's like, whoa, and I was like, wow, that's, and I'm like, so there's an underlying energy, underlying vibration, right? There just is. The people that live in this world, like me, the paranormals, we're all in tune to the vibrations of the collective human people. And it's paranormal. You can't see it because it's not visible, but you feel the vibrations. You feel that, and you feel it in your chakras. You feel it up and down, right?
exactly, exactly. I mean, and it's what people more than ever. Like they gotta discover this stuff. They have to work with Reiki masters, with clairvoyance, and
Right,
learn how to open themselves up to this rather than just living in
right,
the dark. Rather than just living in the dark.
right,
But
right.
so, well, actually, good question to end this show off with. If you had to predict what exactly is going to happen in 27 or beyond, with once this event actually occurs, because we could be wrong about the year, we really could be. Who knows? But once it occurs, what do you think the time? What do you think the timeline of events is going to look like?
Well, timelines are always kind of hard to nail down, but I feel and see over the next, let's say, 5 years, every year developing more changes. It's not going to be like a blast of light or an event that changes. So we're going through these, increase. You remember the solar winds this year and all the aurora borealis this
Mm-hmm.
year? I mean, it was phenomenal. There were states that had never seen it. They thought it was the second coming of Jesus. It literally is, because they can see it and feel it. So more of these things are going to happen, showing us that the world is changing all around us and we're a part of it, and you should be feeling it. If you're in tune to it, and you are of this world and not a NPC, right? If you're really have some of the DNA that's meant to sustain humanity, you have already. You're going to be getting the vibes. So we're going to be going through natural transitions of changes in our bodies, of the earth, of our relationships. We're going to start feeling that. What's going to happen is there's going to be the powers, the companies, those are going to start to topple. Okay, so the big strangleholds on humanity that have burdened humanity with usury, mortgages. Mortgage means death grip. Mortgagi in Latin. Mortgagi means death grip. It
Really?
literally is a death grip. You think
Uh,
about it.
Oh, it is. I mean, trust me. I just paid mine a couple days ago. So yes, it is a death grip.
I mean, how many people are really going to own their houses? I mean, God love you if it's close, but buying cars. Who buys cars? Why should you buy a car? just lease a new one every 3 years and pay a third of the cost. A third. They lose value so fast as soon as you drive them off the lot. So I've learned all these tricks that just sabotage your peace with sucking your resources out. We just are overused and overconsumed. So those days are over. Being corrupt governments, corrupt businesses, corrupt, all that bad human vibe is going to shed. So we're shedding the snake, right? 2025 was the year of the snake. And it's officially done on February 17th, 16th, 17th, one of my daughter's birthday of all things. It's amazing. So then it's going to be this year of the horse, or the fire horse, whatever they call it. So there's literal changes that I feel, I've shedded a lot in 2025. You know, I've learned a lot, but I've gotten rid of a lot of people, financial stuff that have allowed me to say, well, I'm going to go to Argentina for a month again because I'm ready. I've learned, and it's like, you know, so the changes I see are big structural, physical earth changes, financial systems, and things like that around us, where communities are going to be more important. And we're going to have I think there's going to be a major transfer of wealth from the billionaires to humanity, where truly it's going to be based on merit system instead of the capitalism. Because the capitalism has touched parts of countries like in these small towns of Argentina, where they didn't really like our Western thought. They didn't like our consumerism. And I'm like, you're right. They don't like all the options and the materialism and how much stuff costs. I was like, you're right. I get it.
Yep.
So I'm saying, Jeremy, get ready for good changes, but be open for drastic changes for yourself. Be prepared.
Any kind of change in this world will be a good thing. So I'm not going to complain regardless. But
right.
Because right now the world is almost unlivable. It's almost unlivable with the amount of financial strain it puts on you. It's almost unlivable to live in society, and
I know, but you just got to hang in there. You got it. So once you already see that, you're on it. Okay. Once you know you're in the trap, you know what being out of the trap will look like, right? Exactly. So once you put yourself in your mind and being in that freedom, it's going to come. It's going to come. So think of yourself being out, God, if I didn't have that, if I didn't have to pay that. So you're going to start planning things around your life to really help you build your own personal freedom. So you hang in there and you take the steps to do it.
Yeah, man, definitely be nice. Well, there you go, folks. That's a little glimpse into the future for you, hopefully. And I do believe Johnny has said some things that are very true and will be occurring eventually. When, that's everybody's guess, but we'll find out as we get there, and we'll see what happens. I mean, who knows? It could be something detrimental that changes us for the good. It could be something amazing that we never could predict. Who knows, really? I could sit here all day hypothesizing these things, but
it's as big as the imagination, but still unimaginable.
Really is. It really is. But tell the folks at home, Johnny, where can they find your website once again, and we'll of course keep them updated with any appearances you'll be having at local places.
Yeah, definitely. The website is www.geovortex.net. Go on that. You'll find the library, the books. I'm going to be giving away. You buy the library, I'm going to give you the big tabletop edition, no charge. I'm going to include that into the library. The library is going to include all the books I'm going to be writing. I'm thinking it's at least 4, and that's $150 right now. So you think about it, you're going to get volumes of data and information. So this is going to be popular with researchers, with students. It's going to be so I'm creating a library of content like no other. and then trying to take it to, producer is going to be next, right? To get the images and some of the visuals put into 3D in motion. So go on the website, check it out. If you're interested, write me an email. I'm looking for collaborators. If you're from university or anything, I need DNA samples done on my bones and some of the tendons and stuff that I've got, sitting. And so it's just been me. So grants, research grants, collaborators, people that are really interested and really curious and want to see what I have, they're going to be blown away. So that's where my web's at. My YouTube is at GeoVortex on YouTube. You can check out my YouTube channel, but it's all on my website. I had a beautiful showcase gallery of all my YouTube videos on my website. So you can go and see everything. Like I said, it's the portal that's going to help you understand what this world is about. But the books start going into the details on the journey. So that's where I'm at. Check out the merch. I got some fantastic designs that you will never see. That's all my own proprietary design too. I call it rocket wear. So it's crystals I found in the Mediterranean when I went time lapse back from an island, actually Crete, and found some enormous, and I named it Crystals of Infinity. And that's my mineral that I found that I named it Tesonite. So there's the event, and then there's a mineral, and then I named the actual crystal because I found it, because I can. So
Exactly. Well, why wouldn't you? I would too if it was me. But there you go, folks. Go check it all out, and we'll have Johnny back on at some point when he comes back from Argentina, and we'll hear all about his discoveries.
good. Thanks again, Jeremy.
Thank you, buddy. It's always good to have you on, and I'll see you folks next time. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a good one.
Thanks.